magnificent and complete expression of all love, accepting in this moment that everything of love, of light, is within you. It is you. It is the light itself. That is beyond the form, beyond any concepts of a separate self. And the journey of love is a journey of remembering, of returning, stepping away from the fantasies that have been made, the dreams that have been pieced together in the belief of separation. A defense system has been built. Mistakenly, erroneously, has been put together in the belief of false evidence, of suspicion and hatred within the world, the belief of death has been held deeply, fully, believing in its authenticity and believing in a damaged self. All of humanity has walked, searching, seeking to find respite that cannot be found except through the acceptance that only love is real. That your divine true self has never been tainted in any way, has ever been altered. This cannot be. It's impossible to touch the brilliance of all creation. It is impossible to change the light of truth. No thoughts can interfere. No ideas can alter the truth of love. And when this is truly accepted, a new strength, a true strength, begins to be recognized from within. The strength of love. The joy of love that is truly love. There is no sadness in love. There is no sorrow in love. Peace is the true state. And to find that peace again, to return to that peace, is to gladly relinquish the false self that has been erroneously attached to. Now is the time for love to shine. Now is where love does shine. You will not find peace. You will not find love in the past. It's not possible. And you have the power within you to be here, to rest here, to love here. Accepting that God is here. True life is here. Complete. And beyond comprehension. The miracle of love will open the door. The miracle is yours. The miracle is the gift. The gift of love itself that transmutes. That transcends all the nightmares of the past, and the dream will then fall away. And reality will be accepted. Only love is real. And in the separate identity, love is not known. Love is not recognized. And yet love is all that there is. Every moment is the grand moment of beginning again. Every moment is whole and innocent. And every moment holds a miracle. It's a leap of trust, a leap of faith, when you join with the power of God. In an instant, love is remembered. In an instant. Your yes is so powerful. Your yes has the power to reach the light. To connect with the light. Your yes has the power to embrace the light and to reject the lies of the past. In this moment, all simplicity of love exists. And in the simplicity of love, step by step, accepting just breathing. Breathing into the moment. And as you breathe into the moment with intention, with the power of your holy intention, your yes connects. Your yes meets the truth of love. The simplicity of the breath, of sacred breath, is with you all day, every day. Sacred breath brings you out of the trance into a moment of yes, and assists you in remembering in this breath is all love. In this breath is all creation. In this breath is the oneness with God. Breathing deeply and fully, with full intention to release the past and surrender the future into the hands of God. And affirming that as you surrender the future into the hands of God, you are affirming and accepting that you do not want the future to be of the past, that you want the future to be the holiness of God, and that as you surrender the future, 1 minute from now, 2 minutes from now, it is God's. It is God's use of time. It is God's present moment. And you happily walk undefended, secure that the future is blessed because you have given the future back into the hands of God, where it belongs. And you affirm in your heart that you're no longer willing to hold the future hostage with knowing, with assessments, with opinions, all wrapped in fear. A glad heart, a happy heart, that the future is God's. Nothing to worry about, nothing to plan, nothing to assess, definitely nothing to control. Freedom. The future is free, as you choose. Choosing to trust that God's will for you is peace and joy. And that peace and joy will unfold as you allow. As you step back and let God lead, as you step back and declare, show me the way. Show me the way. I don't know what's most helpful. Show me the way. Trusting in the power of God. Trusting. And continuing to breathe in this moment, the willingness to declare the heart is undefended. That in your defenselessness, grace and blessings are recognized. Breathing and allowing the power of love to have its way. And as you continue to breathe consciously, being present in this moment, not allowing the mind, the habit of mind, to take you in other directions, but to keep bringing yourself back to this moment and to just be and rest in God. And affirming here in this moment, here, in the infinite circle of love, we are one. This truth, this reality is here now. And as you accept this awareness and accept this truth, your heart can open and your awareness can illuminate that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. No separation, no differences, no stories, only love. This sanctuary is filled with love. It's all that exists. It's all that is. Sink into this love. Accept this love. This universe is all love. To accept this is to be set free. To invite every aspect of the universe into your heart as the truth of who you are. You are every star. You are the moon, the sun, the wind, every aspect of love you are. the willingness to let the veil be lifted and return home. And breathing in this moment and accepting there is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force, we live and move and breathe as one. Allow and accept and awaken to this divine life force that you truly are. One heart, eternally one. No enemies, no differences, no others. To see the light, accepting the light in everyone and in everything. Allow prayer to be at the center of your day, of your life, that you can walk in prayer all the time, that you can be in that divine communion all the time by choice, relinquishing the distractions of the past, relinquishing the trance of knowing and praying and accepting. Oh Father, I pray for tenderness. Oh Father, I pray for the love. I pray for the awareness of my inner world. I open up my heart to receive you, Father, to know the holy light, so I can see. Oh Father, I pray for tenderness. Oh Father, I pray for the love. I pray for the awareness of my inner world. As you pray for the awareness, the miracle of love is invited. As you pray for the awareness of your inner worth, the miracle is called. Invite the miracle to illuminate your mind and your heart into the truth of divine worth that is the only true identity. You are the light of God. Nothing can change that. Nothing has changed that. Nothing will ever change that. It's not possible. And therein lies the acceptance. Elevate my awareness to God in everything and in everyone. Let me open my mind and my heart to the brilliance of the universe and the firmament, to the brilliance of the truth of God. This is a beautiful light, a light that shines constantly throughout the universe and is the universe itself. I ask for my heart to be opened and my mind to be invigorated with light itself, to be cleansed of all separate beliefs. I am here to sing. I am here to praise the truth of God. I'm here to affirm the truth of all divine beings. Praise given to all the divine beings that serve love's remembering. I join my heart. I join my intention with that light and with that love. Elevei o pensamento a Deus lá nas alturas para reconhecer o brilho da formosura, o brilho da formosura em uma luz de alento que limpa meu coração e vigora meu pensamento. Aqui eu vou contando que a minha vida é essa, viva Rei Juramidam e a rainha da floresta. Elevate my awareness. Let that be your prayer, your constant prayer. Elevate my awareness to God in the truth of all light. Elevate my heart. Invigorate me in the truth of love as I say yes. As I walk in prayer, as I recognize my divine and holy devotion of my purpose in the everyday life, that my purpose is to remember God, dedicating each day completely to this purpose. And every moment will unfold in its divine order, its divine harmony. Out of this mess, pray to be humble, so that God does not have to appear to be so stingy. Pray to be honest, strong, kind, and pure, so that the beloved is never miscast as a cruel, great miser. I know you have 100 complex cases against God in the courts. But never mind, wayfarer. Let's just get out of this mess and pray to be loving and humble, so that the friend will be forced to reveal himself so near. Pray to be humble so that God does not have to appear to be so stingy. When the fear arises of lack, when the fear arises in the everyday life that says, I am without, or I have been treated unfairly, or have something that's missing within me, it is an accusation by the ego of God's stinginess. In a roundabout, obscure way, this is the intention of the ego. To keep proving that God is stingy, holds back, rejects, and that you have to prove your worth, even though it's not possible. When the reaction in the day is, I am without, I'm lacking, and a statement is made within, the reaction says, I'm right, and the familiar takes over. That familiar is the belief that scarcity is real, and that God, the power of the universe, purposefully rejects you, purposefully denies you the abundance of love. A hidden belief is running that says, I have left God and I believe so deeply in retaliation that God must be retaliating now for my sins. And that belief is held at the core of the belief of separation. And over and over and over again, in your daily walk in life, the ego looks through the lens of lack, looking for the evidence to prove that it's right, that you are unfairly treated, that you are not getting what you deserve from the universe. And it is such a leap of faith to accept that nothing is being held back from you. Nothing of love is not yours. It's just that you look through this lens that distorts everything into believing that the illusion, the temporary forms on the outside are supposed to give you something. Give to the body because you believe that's you. But your spirit, your divine light is already whole and complete within. And everything is about coming back home to meet the friend that's already here and waiting. And to accept that there is no judgment in God, that there is no retaliation in God, that there is no stinginess in God, that there is no lack or pulling back in God. That's all self-made. That's a self-attack. You deny yourself the love that is waiting to be discovered within by looking outside for something that doesn't exist outside. Pray to be humble so that God does not have to appear to be so stingy. That place of humility says, I don't know. I don't know the way. The arrogance of the ego says, I know everything. I know I've figured it all out. And I'm the judge and the jury and the evidence itself. But pray to be humble, to come into that place of humility that accepts I can't be right about what I think I know. It's not possible that the power of the universe would exclude me, that I would be excluded from love itself. But I must rejoin with humility. I must come back to union, to the acceptance that is waiting beyond the form in the light of love itself. Oh, pray to be honest, strong, kind, and pure. Honest with yourself, because that's who you lie to. God does not lie to you. You lie to yourself. When you believe your evidence, when you believe your own thoughts about what you think you know, you lie to yourself. You're not honest with yourself because you're afraid of honesty. You're afraid to let go of the lies of the past because you're afraid of dissolving into love. Insanity is never honest. Insanity says I must preserve the past even though I hate the past. That's insane. Pray to be honest. Pray to be strong in your faith. Pray to be strong in your devotion to what you truly want. Every moment that you stop and you ask yourself during the day, what do you truly want? Truly, what do you want? Your heart remembers. Your heart in the depth of truth remembers. You want peace. To be living in peace, to be free, to come home. That's what you want. That's what your soul wants. That's what spirit wants, which is the same thing. Wants to remember and come home. And you have the power within you, in your honesty. The everyday honesty that it takes to question the shenanigans of the mind, to question the games that the mind plays out of habit, out of fear, but it's a game. When you question an assessment, when you question a judgment, as soon as you question that judgment with your honesty, you no longer buy it, because it can't be true. It doesn't contain peace. It doesn't have any joy there. And that honesty will bring you out of the trance and into the recognition of your divine choice. To come back into and live in honesty. To laugh at the ploy of the ego, at the games that it plays. Whether it's the game of arrogance, trying to prove that you know out of habit, or the more straightforward fear that says, I'm unloved, and you call it out. I cannot be unloved. I cannot be without. It's impossible. I am accepting that God is love. I am accepting that only love is real. I am accepting that I am the light of God, and everything is the light of God. That's the honesty. The honesty of love. Strong. To want and pray for the upside downness of the belief of weakness to be revealed. To recognize weakness for what it is. Weakness is attack. Attack is weakness. Fear is weakness. Strength is an undefended heart. Strength is honesty. Strength is devotion. Strength is love. Strength is not of the body. Strength is the spirit, the heart. It has no resemblance to the strength that the ego has made up to camouflage weakness. To surrender your determination to be right, to surrender that determination and give that determination to the Holy Spirit to be used and transformed into devotion, the devotion of God, the devotion of love, the devotion of light. Pray to be honest, to be kind, to be strong and pure. You are pure, but when you're in your knowing, you don't remember that you're pure. Pray to remember that purity, and pray to see the purity in everyone and in everything. Pray. Oh, Father, I pray for tenderness. I pray for the awareness of my inner worth and the divine worth of all creation. This is all that I want to see. Let this prayer take your heart as you go to sleep at night. Let this be in your heart as you go to sleep, that this is what you want. And wake up with the same prayer, praying for tenderness, praying to recognize the tenderness and the grace and the blessings that are at the everyday life of remembering. Praying. Praying so that the beloved is never miscast as a cruel miser, that you don't allow your mind to wander into the belief that love is kept from you, but that you made a mistake and chose to close the door to love, and now you're being called to open that door, to say yes. And the more that you say yes, the more that you are in that devotion every moment, that this is your purpose, that this is your life, that you have no other purpose at all. Let this prayer be with you all day, every day. Let it sing. Let it be your heart's song all day long. And affirming that as you pray for this illumination, your prayer is always answered, because God is not a miser. There is nothing being kept from you at all. And that is the place of honesty, the acceptance. I know you have 100 complex cases against God in court. This is all the thoughts that you have carried in your mind and have held in your heart as the blame and vengeance of the past. Because this is the case against God in court, is the past. Is the refusal to recognize that the past was your nightmare. The past was your false identity. And to accept that is to close the case. to surrender the belief of guilt, the belief of blame, the belief of vengeance for the past, surrendering it all into the hands of God, and no longer willing to be the judge and the jury of a false identity. How can all of this false identity be healed? With surrender. With surrender and acceptance that the miracle of love can heal everything. But it must be surrendered. It must be surrendered. That's the only way anything can heal, is the willingness to recognize, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the truth, but love will show me the truth. In the stillness and in my willingness, love will show me the way. But never mind, wayfarer, let's just get out of this mess and pray to be loving and humble, so that the friend will be forced to reveal himself so near. The arrogance of fear, the determination to be right, says no to God. And yes, there is a tremendous fear of love. Every beloved is afraid of being devoured by love. To melt into the oneness of love, the ego holds out that you will be loyal and say no. I must retain my identity and my perceived authority. And there's no love there. There's just no love there. And the universe is filled with divine blessings through every sacred teaching, through every sacred moment. The universe is wanting to communicate with you, to open those doors where you have believed you were separate. But because you made a separate identity, only you can relinquish that identity. You can't be rescued from what you made when you are determined to be right. You can't be rescued because you're not a victim. You are not a victim of the world that you believe is your enemy, the world of the belief of limitation. That is all self-made. That's all self-imposed, and it is the self-attack. And it's in the relinquishment out of this mess to realize the mess never was. The mess was made up. Is it a big leap of faith? Yes, it's a big leap of faith, in the sense that it's a whole story that you've made up, that you've believed in hook, line, and sinker. Every element of your being has believed itself to be separate. Every element. How can that be healed? The stars told me that in this world everything can be healed. And that faith has to lead. That faith has to lead the way. To no longer give fear your life in all the ways that fear appears, because fear is not just the obvious shaking in your boots place. It's anger, it's resentment, it's vengeance, it's distortions of all kinds. It's worry, it's concern, it's upset. It's the belief that you can be unfairly treated. It's all of the ways that the ego makes up to believe in fear. There's no joy there. And there's never any joy in proving that you're right. To prove that you're right is a little tiny sliver of satisfaction for a moment. And all it does is take you back into the past and dump you there again. So that you're swimming again in a false state of illusion. So fill your senses, fill your intention with praying. Pray to be humble, and it will be answered. Not magically, but because you relinquish your knowing. It isn't like knowing is a place that says, aren't I smart all the time? No. Knowing says, aren't I stupid most of the time? Aren't I worthless? Aren't I rejected? Aren't I lacking? Aren't I without? That's what knowing speaks. Every once in a while it throws you a bone of aren't I smart? But that's just to keep you going. Uncover, throw back the curtain and see with honesty what is really running. And when you question what is really running, you'll see that it's not love, that it's not joyful, that it's not peaceful. And even the spiritual ego has its own venue, using spiritual terms, using spiritual words, using spiritual teachings to convince that you know something. Pray to be humble. Pray to let go of it all and come empty unto God. Empty. Don't spend time having intellectual, spiritual conversations with yourself. Go straight to the heart and pray to be kind, to be strong, to be pure, to be humble. show me the way. I don't know the way. And the ego may scream, well, when am I going to know? When am I going to graduate from this class? I'm really good at graduating. I will stay in this not knowing until the light is remembered. And after the light is remembered, the not knowing will still be there, because there's nothing to know. Everything that you believe in as knowing has been made up. It began when you incarnated. You built a system of knowing. Everyone built a system of knowing, and it all depended on the belief that you were separate from love. You built an identity. Just like a movie, you built an identity with a script that you kept writing and building on with your evidence, the good, the bad, believing in good and bad, believing in right and wrong, believing in death, believing in lack, believing in unworthiness. The story was built. Believing that you had to prove yourself, and all the evidence that you used along the way to prove that you were right. And this is what is being called to be let go, to get out of this mess, and to stop taking God to court, to prove that you're right. I know you have 100 complex cases against God in court. This is a way of piercing through the veil to see the insanity of living in this false identity. That you would be taking God to court to prove that you're right. The court of your mind, of being the judge and the jury, of being right. Pray to remember love. Pray to accept that trust in the divine, your intention to trust, it is your intention. Trust comes from within. It's something that you either give yourself to or you don't. To trust in God, in the divine. That to trust in the divine will settle all perceptions of problems right now. Right now. To trust in the divine will settle out of court, because you are accepting that only love exists. To accept every morning, every evening as you go back into a sleep state within the night, that love is your life. You have no other life. That anything else that you think is an agenda is completely made up, is completely just distraction. It's a complete farce. Love is your life. Remembering is your life. Your purpose, your only purpose. To not play games with circumstance, to try to prove your worth again and again and again and again for nothing. When your only worth is that you are the light of God. Not your only worth, it's the only worth that there is. And that is already who you are. And the journey is the remembering of that truth and trusting that that is the truth. Trusting. Only love is real. Humble. Pride says you are deprived. It's upside down. You're not deprived except by your own choosing to not remember the truth of love. To really accept that nothing is missing, even though all of your evidence says, this is what I see, this is what I feel, this is what I experience. It cannot be the truth. Because the promise is I cannot be deprived of anything except by my own choosing. I'm the only one that can deprive myself of anything. And everyone has done a marvelous job at believing in that deprivation. But it is not a mastery that you want to continue. It is not a mastery that has any worth at all to keep proving that you are deprived. But to accept humbly, only I can deprive myself of anything. Because everything is coming from this mind. I'm giving it all the meaning that it has. To truly accept that you give everything all the meaning that it has is to make a detour out of your old life and to completely come back and recognize finally, aha, now the healing can really begin. Because everything is coming from this mind. This is like being in a movie with ghosts in it, or a scary person that you're looking for, that you're in your house and you're afraid that someone else is in your house and is going to hurt you. And you finally recognize there's nobody else in this house, it's just my mind. That's it. I've spent 10,000 lifetimes looking outside for the problem. And all the while it was right here. This is where the problem is. All here. And this is where the healing is. Now that you have returned to the source of the problem, it can be healed. It can't be healed when you are looking out there for the solution. It's not possible. Everything that you're looking for out there is because you are projecting onto God and projecting onto everything outside, or what you think is outside, as the problem. God is not the problem. Others are not the problem. There are no others. The world is not the problem. Everything is coming from within. This is not a condemnation. This is an aha. This is an acceptance, finally, of now the healing can really begin. Because I can choose what I truly want. I can choose to be either a victim of a false identity and believe that I'm a victim of the world outside, or I can see that I have been depriving myself of love with these thoughts, with this self-attack. And now it's the opportunity of getting out of this mess. Pray to be humble so that God does not have to appear to be so stingy. Pray to accept that God would not leave you without. It's not possible. Not in any way is it possible that you could be left without. And that the only problem is the belief that you think you are separate from God, and that you believe it in your own mind, and you made a separate story out of it. And it can be let go just as easily as it was made up. More easily, because all you're doing is surrendering it. All that you're doing is surrendering it into the hands of God and inviting the miracle to transform. You won't even be able to take credit for the healing. You won't be able to say, look what I did, because there wasn't an I that did anything. All it was a surrender. And you allowed and you invited the power of God to transform this old identity, this mistaken identity, and to accept that you were never separate, and pray to be loving and humble so that the friend will come and reveal the truth of love so near, because this is what you want. And you put your faith in the promise of love. Begin every day in waking, praying to be humble, to be strong, to remember the purity that you are, to be kind. To be kind is to have loving intention, moment to moment, to nurture the loving intention within, and to realize that there is nothing to get, nothing to prove, nothing to get from outside. Everything is already within. Awaken the loving kindness within. Awaken by your prayer that you want that loving kindness, that loving grace, that loving intention to be your awareness and your life. That's all that you want to know. That's all that you want to live in. And to continue to learn to offer love. Learning. Not assuming you know how to offer love, but learning. Show me the way.